Hello and welcome back to the Road to Champions League Glory with Bishops Stortford. This is episode 8, the Season 1 review. Big news to start off with is that we won the league. Unfortunately, we lost a few games. Altogether, we lost 4 times over the season. So last time you were with us, we played Manchester United in the FA Cup 4th round, which was up here. And since then, we went through the rest of the games in the Vanarama South, and we did come across a few challenges, and we did lose, okay? The first one was against Poole. We lost 1-0. We didn't play very well. They deserved to beat us. Then we came up against Ebbsfleet, who at the beginning of the season were favourites to win the league, and we lost 4-1. We got battered. After that, Weston-super-Mare beat us 2-0. They were on a run and a push to get into the playoffs and to get that second place, as at this point, unfortunately for you guys, I was winning the league and there was a game or two around this time where we could have won it, but it all depended on other results. So I didn't do a live com because I might have won and another result might not have gone the way I wanted it, so it meant we wouldn't have won the league. Then unexpectedly I beat Oxford 3-0 and I won the league. So it was a bit of an anticlimax because in some way I was waiting for it to happen, but I couldn't really predict which game it would be. We were so far away, it was just depending on other results. We did come up against Weston-super-Mare though, and they did beat us. Then we came up against Dartford and they beat us as well. We did have a red card after 14 minutes, which didn't help our game. But we did win the league. So let's have a little look at the league. So, we won the league by a grand total of 13 points. We got up to 90, which was I was pretty pleased with that. I think we could have won a few more games. There was a few games during the season that we drew, which realistically we should have won. But I can't complain too much. We were champions. We've been top of the league throughout the majority of the season. If you have a look, we went first on match day 9. From there, we haven't lost that spot. We didn't really do much else other than stay in the top positions, which is always good. We won the most in the league. We lost the least in the league. We scored the most, but goals conceded, we did finish 3rd on that list. Okay, so let's have a little look of the team overview. Let's have a look at the stats. We had the best possession. We didn't hit the most on target. We were second in that. Headers, we were second in that. Tackles were nowhere near. Conceded, we were second in that. Clean sheets, we were 3rd. Fouls, nowhere near, which was always nice. Most passes, we're joint first on that, I think, because Wealdstone have done a few more passes than us, so they get that one. Most crosses, we're nowhere near. This is a bit of a worry because we do feed off a lot of crosses. Don't think we were far down the list, but don't think we weren't in the top 8 anyway. Let's have a look at the player overview. So the top goal scorer was Elliot Richards. We had Jake Simpson down in 4th place with 21 goals. He lost his place in the first team lineup towards the end of the season. He wasn't having the greatest of games. He came off 9 off the bench, but 21 goals in 26 starts, I thought was quite impressive. Assists, Dale Grubb. We had Harris and Reece Hall-Johnson in the top 5, which is always nice to see. Didn't have anyone on the distance. Tackles, didn't have anyone there. Conceded, obviously we have Fraser Siddle because we didn't concede that many. Clean sheets, Siddle's up there as well. Most tackles, we haven't got anyone of ours on there. Most dribbles, again, we didn't have anyone on there, which is a shame because I think our left and right winger could do a bit more dribbles, which would hopefully give us a few more goals, possibly a target for next season. Key passes, We didn't have anyone on there. I'm hoping. Well, we did have key passes, but just not as many from one specific person. And shots on target, Jake Simpson. Obviously, he didn't play that many games. He didn't play as many games as the rest, except this boy. And to be honest, a goal every 108 minutes is pretty impressive. So let's just have a little look at the actual player stats of Bishops Stortford. So we have a little look at competitions. We'll go all time, not all time, wrong one. Overall, that's what I meant. We have Fraser Siddle, who had the most appearances for the club. As you can see, actually, I put him on the bench for last game and gave a game to Tom Lovelock, bless him. He'd been waiting all season for that. So yeah, Fraser Siddle had the most games, followed by Gordon, Wilson, Hickford, Harris, Hannah, Simpson, Hurd. Then you look at the goals, spread out. We had four people who got double digits. Jake Simpson, Lewis Wilson, Gordon, Aluo, who only came in January, only played 13 matches. This is one of the boys that I brought in January. It's one of the transfers that came in. He played 16 games, scored 10 goals. I believe he is going to be a good little player for us in the conference Prem next year, in the National. So we look at assists, and again we've got 3 players in double digits, which is always good to see. Harris, Hurd and Gordon. Hall Johnson would be there, but unfortunately he's left the club. I will tell you more in due course. Player of the matches, quite a few, got quite high up. Pass rating, this is always good. John Noble, coming off the bench and doing well with his passes. High 80s. Anything 80 and above in this league is very good, okay? Tackles per game, got some good tackle in there. Dribbles, we wouldn't have been far off. Yellow cards, this is my only worry, okay? Johnny Hurd and Hickford picked up a fair few yellow cards, which meant they got suspended a few times. Few red cards, but I can kind of cope with that. Average rating. So Johnny Hurd finished off with a 7.41. Ignore the next one. Harry Hickford came with a 7.14. Lewis Wilson 7.12. Zach Fagan, he came out. He did a job. 7.12. Whenever I needed him, he came in, did a job for me. Callum Harris 7.12. John Noble again did a job. He came off the bench, gave me consistent performances at 7.09. Schoenecker. These boys have done well off the bench. Quay Taylor, new signing. I brought him in. I recognised that we were weak at the back. Found this boy through my scouts, and could see that he was playing well for his club at the time. Brought him in 7.06, in a few leagues above than what he was playing at the time. Stats look decent. I was pretty happy with that. He's coming in done well. Obviously I got Gordon, Osborne, Carroll. He came in about November time when Sayers went, so he's come in. Jake Simpson kept above the 7 rating, which was good. Siddle kept it as well. So we look at the rest of the team. Simon Hannah, a little bit disappointing that he's only on a 6.9. Tom Molyneux didn't really play after probably October time very much. He's one that possibly will be going in the summer. Jake Jebb, when the injuries came in, he was a boy that had his chance and disappointed me, to be honest. He was a new signing. He had his chance and didn't take it. Remy Mears, centre mid, didn't really do much. You look at John Joe O'Hara as another centre back that I brought in as a little bit extra cover. Didn't really play very well when he came. Aaron Green, who technically, report-wise, is outstanding. Look at that. 5-star potential. 3.5-star current ability. Stats. Average rating. Absolute rubbish. Can't cope with that. When his competition is at the top of the list. When his competition, Johnny Hurd, top of the list. Boom. 7.32. 7.41 overall in all competitions. So There are our player stats. If we look at we'll have a little look at the team awards. So, a little look here. The team of the year, voted by I don't know if it's voted by the players or just the club in general. But the team of the season was Siddle, Hall, Johnson, Hickford, Osborne, Hurd, Carroll, Hannah, Harrison centre attacking, Wilson on the left, Gordon on the right, and Simpson up front. Johnny Hurd got fans player of the season by a vast margin. 73% voted for him. Second was Hickford, then Wilson was third with 9%. Ryan Carroll was the signing this season on a free transfer. I would disagree with this. I would say he's not my signing of the season. In my opinion, I would say that Wilson is my signing of the season. He came in, I brought him in as a striker, to be honest, and he stayed on that left hand side. He's training hard to be an inside forward. His stats aren't the best. Technically not very good. Mentally, yes, he's got a bit of determination, bit of teamwork, bit of work rate, which is great. I always look for that. But technically, average. But he's banged in some goals. So just double check again. 17 goals in 38 games, 5 assists, 3 playing matches, 7.15. He's played very well. 19 goals overall. He scored 2 in the cup as well. He's played very well, which I'm pretty pleased with. And then young player of the season, Harry Hickford. You could have chosen any of them. They're not it's not an old team. The only real old player that I brought in was Siddle, because he gave a bit of experience in the goalkeeping position. But they're all pretty young. So another award that the boys picked up is the player of the season, and this season it was Johnny Hurd. So he was the best player in the league. So he got a 7.32 rating in league. He played 26 times, 3 goals, 8 assists, and 4 voting points. Not sure how that works, but he got player of the season. Second, there's 2 years in a trot that a Bishops Stortford player's got player of the season. This player, in real life last year, scored 28 goals and 41. Played for Margate now. Didn't do very well. No comment. Another award that I'm pretty proud of is Manager of the Season. I was able to pick it up with a 61 win ratio. Did help with the unbeaten run for quite a while. We picked up quite a few voting points, and by looks of it, we won by quite a stretch. So we picked that one up. So that's always quite nice. So, since you were last with us, what is new, you may be asking? Well, let's just have a quick look at transfers. I did mention that a few boys had gone out and a few boys had come in. So last time you were with us, Ryan Carroll brought in, okay? These players were with us when we played Manchester United, but we didn't go over them at that point in time. So Quay Taylor, we've gone over him. He's a centre back. John Joe O'Hara is a centre back as well, who came in for cover. Aluo scored a few goals. Jack Jebb playing that centre mid position. These 3 boys on loan were because Jack Everest was a loan on the right wing because Gordon got injured for 3 weeks. Thought they're my affiliate club. He looked alright. Average stats. Looked decent. And actually, because we gave him his first ever game in professional football, I don't know who gave us, but we had an investment of £7,000, which was great to see. Unfortunately, we lost a few players. Some of them I don't really care about, because this one got released. Couldn't really care. Reece Hall Johnson, though. Disappointed to lose this boy. He played extremely well for us. Banged in the assist, got a very high rating, but unfortunately he was on a non-contract. As soon as I saw he was wanted, I did try to sign him on a full contract, on a part-time contract at the time. I offered him £450. not knowing what Morecambe were offering him. But I offered him £450. But you got to remember, mine was part time. So Morecambe offered him a lower wage but a full time contract. But unfortunately, we're going to be in the same league next year because Morecambe got relegated. So we are going to be playing against Reece Hall Johnson next year. His contract has only just recently been extended. It was going to expire in a month's time. I was keeping an eye on him because if it did expire, I would have signed him up in a shot if he'd wanted to come back, that is. So because of him going, we were weak at the back on the right hand side. So I brought in these two boys on loan. They covered a gap until the end of the season. Luckily, we had a greater points total than everyone else. We had a nice gap in the league. We didn't suffer too much. These boys came in, the games they played were okay, but I kind of mixed it around a little bit, gave a few boys a few games here. I brought Michael Richards, played a few games as well for me. Paul Rogers did as well, my other right back. I'm pressing buttons now. Paul Rogers. Is he Rogers? Where are you? Can't seem to find him. If I put him in here. Yes, Paul Rogers. Didn't really seem. Well, he played a few more games than the other boys. There's a reason why I dropped him was because he kept just giving me poor performances. In the end, that's for the under 23s. For us, I dropped him at the end because against Ebbsfleet, where we lost, he gave me a 4.9. Well, for me, that's shambolic. So a 4.9, he got fined. He got a rollicking from me, and he got dropped to the under 23s. So never to be seen again. He's going to be released in the summer. So that's them. We released a few boys. We've let a few boys go. It's a case of we just needed to get rid of a few players that we weren't gonna be playing. They wanted first team football. See you later. Kevin was a bit of a shame. I quite like Kevin. He was playing well. Played a few games for me. When he wanted a bit more first team football, Boston offered him a job basically. So he signed for them. What else has happened? Well, we have an affiliated club, and not just a senior. We've gone a lower affiliated club. So, who we've got is Cray. Well, Cray Wanderers are in the English Ishman League, if that's how I pronounce that properly. And the reason why I chose them is basically because they've actually got real players. So in my eyes, that means if I loan them some of my decent youngsters, they might have a chance at getting promotion. And I'd quite like to be able to say that I played a part in another little club getting promoted. So I thought it'd be quite nice for them to have a few of my youngsters, and I'll be able to keep an eye on their youngsters as well and see if they're any good, and to see if they are good enough to join my youth academy. And I could use this and send out some of my youngsters that are in my academy, because in our intake we had a few players that came up quite well. Obviously, you got to take this with a pinch of salt because these are getting scouted by players by staff that haven't got amazing stats. Okay, you're looking at like 9 and 9. Yeah, okay. He's not bad. Not a bad little right back. Trying to train him into be the complete wing back, which I need. Not having much luck at the moment. But we've got some good players there. Looking at the potential, we might have a few little possibly under 23 / squad players in the future and maybe next season. So if we can loan them out to Cray, that would be great, because that would give them first team football. It'll push Cray as a club up, and it'll develop a relationship with the two clubs that can help us. We're paying them £9,000. We've got £33,000 coming in from the Bolton one, so I kind of see that as an overlap. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. The other bit is a stadium expansion. Because we've been promoted, we have to have more seats. 500 seats are required in the Vanarama National. We've currently got 200, and I think 250. So an extra 300 seats have been pumped in, so that'll take our grand total of the stadium up to 4,300. The expansion's only going to cost 40 grand, which is great. But we're very, very happy due to our cup run that they could actually pay for this without having to do any loans. So that's fantastic for us. Great, because it means financially we are secure at the moment and proves how well we are doing financially. And we were able to have a completion date in 2 months' time, so this will be completed very, very shortly. So if we have a little look now, we go on to the season review of the FA Cup, which is a cup that we did very, very well in. And I do like these little quotes. I enjoy reading this. Okay, so Tottenham won the cup. Just to give you a bit of information, Tottenham won the cup. Runners up were Arsenal, and we were the biggest overachievers. Which, to be expected, if we weren't, I'd have been disappointed. We went to the 4th round, played Manchester United as a Vanarama South club. That was pretty good. Okay, and I do like this. It was competition to remember for Bishops Stortford, who thrilled everyone with their performances. I do enjoy reading those little quotes. They might not mean much to some, but for me, they're quite nice to read, to see that you are making a difference. So let's have a little look at the finances from that cup competition. So currently we're sat at 95,000. We currently lost 46, but that is because of this stadium expansion. If we look at next season, they're gonna give us just under £9,000 for a wage budget, which, let's be honest, I'm gonna probably go over slightly. And they've given me a little bit of a transfer budget. This will not be used on transfers. I will be only buying free transfers, unless I find something for like 300 quid. This will mainly be used for signing on fees, loyalty fees for current players on new contracts, and hopefully compensation deals for maybe a few youngsters if I can find them. I'll be going on the hunt over pre-season. So while we're on this one, let's have a little think of what we're going to do next season. So we are going to be in the Vanarama National. If I'm honest, this team as it is, I'm missing a right back right now. That's my big one. I'm probably missing a few players to strengthen it up overall. If I put this team straight into the Vanarama National right now, I'd say we'd probably finish low mid-table, so probably about 17th, 18th. I feel with a few improvements, with the tactic that we're using, with the performances that I've seen and the morale that we'll be taking into it, I'm going to aim mid-table. That's my realistic aim. If I'm going with an ambitious aim, I'm probably going to say playoffs. If I can bring in players that are going to boost this team extraordinarily, then we can push ourselves and we can say, yes, we'll be able to hit the playoffs. Automatic and champions, that's what the dreams are made of. If we do that, perfect. This season wasn't meant to be automatic and champions. I was aiming for playoffs as our minimum. Anything else was a bonus. So next season will be mid-table minimum. Anything else is going to be a bonus. So let's hope we stick to that. So just before we finish, I thought I'd just let you see what happened in the other leagues. So if we go up to the north, the team that are coming up with us are Darlington and FC Fylde. Those two boys will be in the National with us. A big one is that FC United got relegated. Bit of a shock. So in the National, we've got Aldershot and Barrow going up into the league system. And getting relegated, so we won't be playing these, are Macclesfield, Solihull, Chester and Gateshead. So we've got some big clubs in this league. They're still going to be there next year. You got Forest Green, Lincoln, Wrexham, Tranmere, Eastleigh, Southport. You've got some big clubs in there. And Sutton are a decent team. They held Wimbledon in real life yesterday. So that's the Vanarama National. If we go up to the next one, Plymouth and Luton haven't finished, so they're going to be competing for that playoff spot, for that promotion spot. Morecambe and Accrington are coming down into the National, so we're going to be playing those two clubs next year. Both pretty decent clubs, but they're going to be on poor form. They're going to probably have to sell all their best players, so we'll be able to take advantage of that, hopefully. It's always a struggle to come down from the Sky Bet League 2 into the Vanarama National. You lose all your best players, you lose your momentum. If you look at the National, there's a lot of teams there that teams don't get straight back up. They struggle for a few years. But Colchester, Portsmouth, Wycombe, they've done alright this season. If they did that in real life, they'd be happy. So have a little look at League 1. Being promoted are Charlton and Scunthorpe. Port Vale going up in the playoffs. Been relegated Oldham, Wimbledon, Bristol Rovers, Coventry. Our affiliated club, Bolton in 8th. Quite happy with that because it means they stay where they are. Okay, let's have a little look at the Championship. Newcastle and Norwich going up. QPR and Huddersfield are in the playoff final. If I'm honest, I'll have to say I'd love to see Huddersfield get into the Prem. They've got David Wagner still in charge as well. Very impressed with him in real life. Looks a decent manager. QPR in real life would never be anywhere near this position. Going down, Preston, Burton, Blackburn. Can see 2 of those going down in real life this year. So those 3 are going down. So let's have a little look at the Prem. It has finished with Sunderland, Hull and Middlesbrough going down. They've been relegated. Southampton, Stoke and Swansea just saving themselves. We look at the top. Arsenal are champions. Manchester United second. Tottenham third. Liverpool get the last Champions League spot. And then Chelsea and Man City are in the Europa League. It's big news, that, isn't it? Let's see if their managers are still there. Manager movements. Look, Antonio Conte's lost his job. Guardiola looks like he's kept it. Pep Guardiola has kept his job. Very surprised with that, considering they just finished 6th. Below Chelsea. Very tight, by the way, to get that place. West Ham were in with a shout. They're only 3 points off Champions League. Wow. That's an impressive season by Slaven Bilic. Yeah, he is still there. So we can do that. If we look at cup competitions, we look at the FA Cup. Tottenham won it. If we look at let's have a little look at the Champions League. The final is going to come up in the 3rd of June. It's late into the season. Tottenham versus Leverkusen. Okay, that'd be impressive if Tottenham win that. I'd be very impressed. Bit of an FM legend there, Christoph Asia. Let's have a little look at the Europa League. And Manchester United beat Juventus in the final. So Manchester United haven't had a bad season under Mourinho. They've finished 2nd in the league and just won the Europa League. Obviously that puts them in the Champions League next season. So I'm not sure if 5th place in the Prem goes up. Anyway, we will see who wins that Champions League game at the beginning of next season. So, I know it's been a bit of a random episode. I've gone over, hopefully, everything you'd like to see from what's happened this season. When you see us next, it'll be the end of pre-season and we'll be in our Season 2 in the Vanarama National. I would like to say thanks for pressing play. If you've liked what you've seen, drop a like. If you'd like to see more of this career and save of the road to Champions League glory of Bishops Stortford, press the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks very much.